Hello, beautiful creative souls, and welcome back to another episode of Chakra-Care for the creative soul. I'm so happy that you're here today because today's topic is going to be short and sweet, and yet it's such an important one. It's all about caring for your light body in preparation for the Lion's Gate. And while this is such a vast topic and there's so much that I could say about it, today what I just want to touch into is really emphasizing in this window of time leading up to the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, how important it is for us to restore the sacred to our self-care. I don't know how you've been feeling, and I encourage you, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it in the replay, to take a moment and just chat. If you have any questions, if you happen to be catching this live, I know I didn't advertise it in advance because I have been going in full transparency through my own navigating, as my beloved teacher Sri Ram Ka and Master Lady Kira Ra would say, the 5 medicines. And it has been an accelerated time of growth, of releasing, of just recalibrating to the new light codes that are coming onto this planet right now. And so it has become even more emphasized in my own life how important it is for me to take care of my light body. And we are all one. So if I'm noticing it's important to care for my light body, and I'm hearing other people, going through similar things, we're all on our own unique journey, and yet ultimately we are one, then this is why I'm here today. So what is your light body? Again, I just want to keep it really simple here. We have a physical body, and then we have an energetic template. But that's the best way I can explain it, if this is something that's new for you. And if it's not, because probably if you're watching this channel, or you're watching, especially on Oneness Talk Radio, is not new for you. But if you're watching on my Multidimensional Muse channel, it could be something that you're awakening to, because that channel is more about awakening to your expanded self. So this is where I always like to dial it back to making sure what I'm sharing makes sense and is clear, because it's such a beautiful gift when we start to awaken to the fact that we're so much more than a physical being. We're so much more than an emotional or a mental being, and that our spirituality isn't something out there, or when I say out there, I mean up here, like out of reach, like somewhere like in heaven one day, on the other side. That it's actually something we can breathe into our body, anchor into our body, and integrate into how we show up for ourselves and for others in our lives. And so the light body, simply put, if you want to imagine, I like to use the Russian doll analogy, those wooden dolls where there's a really large one, and then you open it up, and then there's another one inside of it, and then there's another one inside of it, all the way down to this little teeny tiny little doll inside that's so cute. That's how I like to describe our light body. There's many layers to it. The layers that you may have heard of before are the auric layers. There's a layer just close to and just beyond the physical body itself, which is the etheric body. Then you move into the emotional body, the mental body, and then there's a whole slew of spiritual bodies, and they do actually interface with the energetic centers called chakras in our body. And I think of those chakras as being kind of like stations or rooms. I often use the analogy of rooms. But in this case, because we're talking about feedback loops and energy and information coming in, the bodies are sort of those layers or filters through how we receive the information and also send the information. So when those filters, if you have a filter in your furnace, I'm in Canada most of the time, I'm in Mexico right now, but when I'm in Canada, and those of you who are in colder climates and have a furnace, periodically you need to change the filter on your furnace. And that, improves the air quality. It's the same thing for our light quality. There are all these filters around our physical body of form, and we need to cleanse them. We need to purify them. We need to release the old, stuck pieces of dust and lint that get attached to them. And so this is why caring for your light body is really important. Why is it? I keep emphasizing, why is it so important to care for it, on this 8-8 portal? Well, there are these gateway moments throughout the year, solstices, equinoxes, the Lion's Gate, where it's especially a heightened time for spiritual alignment with galactic alignment, cosmic alignment, planets, stars, locations of where all these are in relationship to the earth. And, just the way the moon affects the ocean waves and the moon affects women and their menstrual cycles, we have even the Schumann resonance on the planet Earth. And there's actually even 8 octaves to it, just like on a piano, right? For those of you who've ever played piano, that these are all vibrations that affect our sense of equilibrium, our sense of connection. And when those are interrupted by noise or static or distraction energies, it interferes with our ability to feel that connection to something larger than that little tiny doll inside of the Russian doll. And that little doll can feel really small in the face of a cosmos that's so vast, let alone a world that's so vast, let alone a life that seems to be having so many things coming at it. Whether, I don't really watch the news that much anymore, as a lot of people I know have stopped doing. But, whatever it is, when we start to recognize that there's this beautiful expanded self that is vibrational. It's energy first, because it's beyond what the naked eye can see, and yet it's measurable to a certain degree. And it also, there's a lot more science coming out about it. That's a whole other show. But for today, I just want to keep it simple because I'm being mindful of the time, because I do encourage you on the hour coming up, Sri and Kira. Kira will be on for the Sri and Kira share about the monthly predictions. And August is such a momentous month that I always love to encourage you to hop on to that as well too, because, and I'm sure you're there and maybe just discovering that I'm here. So I'm not saying it from any place of ego. I just merely encourage you, if you happen to be catching this, even in the replay, and you've not yet heard of Sri and Kira, please go over there and watch it. And if you already know about them, they're amazing. They've been such strong mentors and guides in my life, and continue to be for close to 20 years. So back to the sacred self-care piece in the Lion's Gate. We know it's a heightened time of the year. We know we're so much more than a physical being. So how do we care for our light body? What does that actually mean? Today, I just wanted to, my heart and soul invited me to step forward and just speak to this topic as a gentle reminder about how important it is to notice our energetic frequency. Because over the past month, and definitely the past few weeks, there's been a rapid acceleration. So whatever you've been noticing, whether it's your emotions, your thoughts, your spirit, your physical body, one question to ask yourself is, has there been an acceleration of that? Like, have things been feeling amplified? Like, for example, you might have been noticing your emotions before, but have they been heightened? You might have been noticing your thoughts before, and some of them may not have been maybe positive. Have they been heightened? Have you been noticing aches and pains in your physical body, and they've been heightened? Well, this is because so much is being pushed up into our field of awareness to activate a shift in us. And that shift in us is supported through the Lion's Gate. It's supported. And so the key is, where are we doing the noticing from? Are we doing it from the noticing level of the pain body, of the wounded self, of the part of us that feels like a victim? Are we doing it from the part of us that has compassion for ourselves? Something that I came across recently that really stood out for me as a recovering perfectionist, That is, when we are talking about perfection in spiritual terms, the word perfection actually means, I'm pausing here, I want you to really receive this. It actually means compassion, divine compassion. Yes. And that's a big part of sacred self-care. It's that divine compassion. And we can only have that divine compassion for ourselves when we're not identified with the thoughts, the emotions, the body. We also don't feel a separation from the divine and from our spirit. And we don't see God or whatever name speaks to us as being something out there that gives something to us in here. Really and truly, my own journey, and only take this if it resonates for you, what I've come to discover is that the more I can feel a sense of unity and a sense of wholeness and a sense of sacred union and nourish that and nurture that through my daily practices, that is what restores the sacred to my self-care. Because there's so many things in this modern day world that want to fracture our attention and us and splinter us. So we send all of our energy out and then we feel depleted. And a lot of my own journey of restoring the sacred to my self-care, and it continues to be, is about finding ways, daily simple practices, movements, ways of connecting with my expanded self through evasive balancing, magnified healing, chakra dance, energy work, tuning, sound healing, all of these things that remind me in those moments where I want to go into separation, into fear, into worry, into doubt, into anxiety, and remind me that that's the distraction and not the truth. It's the illusion and not the truth. And it's a rabbit hole, and to be very mindful and to catch myself so that I can unwind myself and expand out from that and be grateful for it and thank the gift in it is what I'm feeling called to describe it. So, for example, one of the things that I've been learning along my journey is that, through different kinds of medicines or different kinds of self-care for different aspects of this multidimensional being, this expanded being that we are. And it's a journey for each of us to discover which ones really resonate and speak to that. One of the things I've been learning along the way is that, when we're dealing with the physical body, by the time something happens, and I from having studied Reiki twice, throughout my lifetime, first time just out of curiosity, second time I did a deep dive, committing to 3 years, 24 case studies, and twice weekly journeys across to the other side of the city after a long day of teaching, and also service work through sacred gatherings with 20 plus people, that when something lands in the physical body, it's already moved past and through all those other light body levels of our auric field. And so when we're caring for our physical body, oftentimes it requires physical things like nutrition, exercise, sleep, water, that kind of stuff. When we're working on that etheric body that's just a little bit out from the physical body, but definitely is like the template for the physical body, that one responds really well to homeopathy because it's starting to get into the subtle, more putative fields of energy and holds that essence of the wholeness, so that the physical body can start to become entrained to that. Then the emotional body works really well with flower essences, and responds to the beauty, the beauty, the vitality in those flower essences, the life force energy, the creativity, the fecundity, the possibility, the growth. Because we're meant to grow through and beyond our emotions. They're just energy that offers a feedback loop. And just the way a plant has a life cycle, so too do our emotions have a life cycle. And as we move through them, they can become fertilizer for the soul. Then we have the mental body, which responds really well to light and color. This is why people in Canada, when it's in the depths of winter, have, light boxes, or love to get out for walks on beautiful sunny January days, myself included, because the light is so healing. And I'm going to loop back to the light in a second with the Lion's Gate. Then we also have, and color, of course. I love color. Color cheers me up. That's why I love being here in the light and color of the beautiful cosmos, sunshine every summer after being a Canadian in the winter. It just heals. It's so healing. Then when you get to the spiritual bodies, and there's a whole slew of them, and beyond the ones that, are commonly talked about, we can go all the way on up to the 33rd dimension and beyond, way beyond, right? Is sound. And because before something becomes a form, it is a sound. If you've ever looked at any of those cymatics videos on YouTube, this is concrete evidence that everything that comes into physical form moves through sound into form. That's a whole other show. I'll come back to that another day. Right now, what I just want to share before I wind up today, because I want to free up the studio for the next people who are going to be in here sharing amazing things that you're going to want to know about and hear about, is that the Lion's Gate is that time of year where the sun is actually a stargate. It's actually a place where we can connect beyond the body of form to something so much larger than us, to the light that we truly are. And in order to really receive the attunement to that reconnection, that remembrance, the more we care for those other layers beyond the physical consciously. I mean, it's all happening whether we're conscious of it or not, but the more we can consciously open ourselves to ways that we can keep our frequency, and by our frequency, I mean, where are we spending most of our time? Are we in peace, love, and joy? Those are the anchors. And from there, it's blast off time. If we are struggling to be in peace, love, and joy, and there's no judgment here, we've all been there. That's why we're on earth, is to experience it all. It's a buffet. Is to do the inner healing work, the cleansing work, the restorative work, so that every time we move through the Lion's Gate, we can receive the plasma energy from the sun, which is the attunement. Last thing I'm going to share is, as an art teacher, why this is so important is that we are co-creative, divine creative beings, and we have access to our divine creativity when we begin to raise our frequency. And when we do it for ourselves, we do it for everyone on the planet right now. It's so key. And 30,000 years ago, there was a creative explosion. 40,000 years ago, they found these little figurines that had long bodies with lions' heads on them. That's a whole other show. Maybe I'll do another one this week. For now, I just want to share that the Lion's Gate, the lion is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for so much more than the mind of form can comprehend, but it is an activation in itself. And the more we keep our energy frequency high and clean and clear, and don't get stuck in places that are just illusory and there for growth and expansion and are not the truth, the more we can tune into these key codes, these activation switches that will help restore that true sense of wholeness. We've never, ever been anything but whole. It's just all these other things that fragment us, keep us believing otherwise. So I hope that was helpful today. If you'd like some more support with anything that I've been sharing, please reach out to me at info@pollyannablanco.com. And it would be an honor and a pleasure to walk beside you, sorry, getting tongue-tied here, as your sacred self-care coach, a creative midwife. I also have lots of other free videos on my YouTube channel. And I'm just here to serve you, because I really feel in my heart of hearts right now as we all awaken to our divine creativity by caring as much for ourselves as we care for the world, while we're birthing our dreams into a beautiful reality, that the world is the better for it. We are expanding not only ourselves, but the world itself. And the world needs all of us right now. Let's do this together. I love you so much, beautiful creative soul. Be well.